Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm standing here with Caps after their convincing win. Hey, how are you feeling about it?
It was a bit rough in the beginning, at least for me. They had like the Sejuani ult, which was a bit annoying, but since we knew we had the scaling, we were really comfortable. We knew as long as we just waited for our power spike, then we could just force, and we did. So.
Can you talk me through your composition, because you picked Kassadin, and that's a champion we don't see a lot at the moment. What was the idea behind it?
So we had the Kassadin along with the Taric and the Ornn, and all the three picks allowed us to go really heavily into the backline. And if anyone dies, then it makes it really easy for the Tristana to just clean up or like just roll over the whole comp, since they have a really defensive comp. Yeah.
Well, it seems to have been very effective indeed. I want to talk about the interview you had last week, on LOL Esports about your ranking of mid laners. Now, you're saying that you're the best mid laner by far, even better than PerkZ. How so?
I mean, I just think that me and PerkZ are both better than everyone else. I don't think I'm better than PerkZ by far. Okay. I just think I'm better than PerkZ, and then us two are like by far better than everyone else. And it's mostly judging from like last year.
Yeah.
Since we haven't seen that much of the new mid laners this year, it's hard to judge them. But maybe time will tell if they're able to stand up.
Okay, well, it's working well for you guys, and you seem to stand above the rest. Thank you very much, Caps, for your time, and congratulations for this game.
Thank you.
And now we're gonna send it back to our analyst at the desk.
Thank you very much, Laure. Always good to hear from Caps.
PerkZ, the best mid laner alongside PerkZ.
Caps above the rest.
Oof.
But even above them, the Stallion.
The Stallion.
Can't forget the Stallion. Of course, though, we have to award a player of the game for the previous matchup, and it is going to be Soaz, coming in 57% of the votes. Turns out if you take TP and Ignite, people will vote for you.
Who would win in a fight? A little mini boomerang man that can turn into a giant monster, or a dude with a hammer and a Bernie stick? Who would have thought that it would be the Bernie stick?
I would
just laugh at the joke and keep going. Perfect.
So funny. All right,
funny.
Let's look ahead towards our next game between G2 Esports and Unicorns of Love. Now, G2 had a lot of struggles in the first weeks. They lost those 3 games in a row. Well, now they've won 3 games in a row. So I want to talk to you guys about what has changed for this G2 lineup. What is coming together?
For me, it feels like that Jankos and PerkZ seem to be finding their form together as a unit. They seem to be utilizing the fact that they're picking winning lanes. Wunder and PerkZ are consistently pushing up in the middle lane, and then Jankos is taking advantage of that to net these early advantages for the team. I like the fact that G2 are being much more proactive in the early game, and it's enabling PerkZ to come into the mid game looking strong.
And for me, since I play with Jankos, I know we will see a lot more from him. He's still just getting there. He's taking these stair steps higher and higher, but it is not the same Jankos we saw in the H2K, the first Wild King, you know? And he will get there.
But guys, I mean, I do want to talk about what Caps was saying earlier. Who is actually the best mid laner in Europe right now? Is it PerkZ? Because look at this game, man. It was PerkZ versus Nukeduck. PerkZ came out on top. He's taken on everybody just about toe-to-toe. Is this guy #1 right now?
Right now, there is no best. We just got a lot of mid laners fighting for that top spot, and it isn't until playoffs for me that I can truly say who sits atop the throne, because PerkZ has had incredible performances. We've seen some great stuff from multiple members, and you've also got to look at some of their opposition in players like Exileh, who really has been stepping up over the last few weeks as well.
And before we talk about Exileh and the Unicorns of Love, I want one last thing to hear from you, Freeze. Are G2 back? Are they the kings of Europe once again, coming in on a win streak, looking good? Is it enough for you to have full confidence in them?
Honestly, if you're G2 and your only win condition is PerkZ, you are not back. You're trying to find yourself still. And then I thought Hjärnan is stepping up big time, but then he just didn't deliver again, and PerkZ had to be the one that had to finish the game for.
That was the case, but now we can look across them. Unicorns of Love put up a big fight against Fnatic yesterday. One player that kind of showed a whole new side of himself is WhiteKnight in the top lane. Just took down the player of the game, as you can see here in this clip, so clearly he's got something going.
This guy was pretty hyped after some of the performances that he had in the Challenger series. He was hitting Reddit every single week. He was having all these great outplays, and this is the first semblance of what we were able to see from the top laner. He picked up the Gnar, he was able to get a great outplay, and overall in this game, he had a pretty solid performance with the lineup of Unicorns of Love.
Well, he used to be on the radar 4 years ago in Challenger, where he was constantly getting high elo, high ranks, and everyone thought he is the best Zoro0, or like the next Zoro0, the best top laner of EU. And then he chose to finish his studies before going to play professionally. He completely stopped playing, and then now he's coming back. Now he finished his studies, and then now he can prove again that he belongs to the top.
That's a tough decision. You got to respect it. But now he's going to have to prove so much today. He's going up against Wunder on the side of G2. Wunder putting up some crazy numbers across those GP performances. How do we feel this matchup is going to go?
Oh, I think that it's going to very heavily depend on the stylistic differences between the two. We have seen WhiteKnight prefer to go for more of those lane-dominant carries, whereas you look at the side of Wunder, he's been willing to play that tanky role. He's been willing to pick things like the Gangplank that fall behind in lane, and he's much more focused on setting his team up for success. And while sometimes that doesn't always translate into the team fights, as G2 is still finding their form, we saw semblance of it last week, where we saw much better team fighting, and yesterday from G2 and the whole squad.
And now one thing on the other side for Unicorns of Love that we have heard is improving. Seems to be the bottom lane. Freeze, you had a lot to say after their game yesterday about how they're kind of stepping it up a little bit, at least in terms of Totoro.
Yeah, I got surprised by Totoro engages. They were super aggressive. They were super on point. He had several baits where he baited Fnatic into engaging on top of him, and then just closing on them, engaging on them. And that's how they actually were ahead versus Fnatic, and they could have closed the game out if they were more patient.
Yeah, I was really impressed with his performance. They picked up the Rakan, they needed to find early leads, and they did it off the back of his fantastic performances. So I want to keep seeing more from him. I thought his brand was fun to watch, wasn't quite the best of performances, but now moving into this week, that kind of confidence and that kind of play is definitely going to serve Unicorns a lot of favors going up against G2.
I want to see if they do it. I want to see if they can get the upset, if they can take them down. Well, the stage is set for our final fight in week 4, so let's give it over to Quickshot and Deficio as we hit the rift.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. Jankos is having a ton of fun with his desktop cam. By the way, he just beat PerkZ in a 1v1 Lee Sin match. It's what they do to warm up. We'll be jumping to pick some bands shortly, Deficio. Let's quickly run down the rosters, starting with G2 on the blue side, with, of course, Wunder in the top lane. Jankos in the jungle. PerkZ wearing his awesome hat.
Oh, I thought his head was way further down for a moment. I was like, what? What's happening?
Hjärnan and Wadid, of course, the AD carry and support.
I also want to highlight that PerkZ yesterday lost a 1v1 Lee Sin game against Wadid, his support. So apparently PerkZ is losing to everyone when it comes to 1v1s.
They do Lee Sin warm-ups for mechanical practice, apparently.
And clearly PerkZ is not on point.
No, of course not. But, you know, he's a mid laner. Mechanics aren't that important. Their opponents today are the Unicorns of Love. Let's quickly run down their roster, of course. Starting up with the top lane, the man that Vedius just spoke about is WhiteKnight. Kold in the jungle, Exileh in the mid lane, Samux and Totoro, AD carry and support. And Sheepy standing behind them. Sheepy always gives Deficio a death stare to begin picks and bans, and it's to intimidate him, I can tell.
Every single time, for at least 5 seconds, he will look straight at me.
Yes.
And he requires some sort of reaction from me. And I never know what to do.
He's looking for your soul, but is yet to find it, I'm afraid.
It's gone. It's gone a long time ago.
Deficio, in picks and bans in the previous game, you very correctly looked towards the Giants' trends.
Dankeschön.
What trend are we going to look at for either of these teams today?
This is a little bit harder because Unicorns of Love yesterday wanted to run this double AD carry comp with the Corki in the mid lane, and then they packed a lot of engage around it, and they were looking for mid game, like bam, Trinity force Corki, force team fights to try and win. Sadly for them, Fnatic had a pure team fight comp that just like killed the AD carries very easily, so it got a little bit too far into the game. Fnatic kind of ran over them towards the end, and they couldn't win, but they had a good start to that game. G2 favored late game. Actually played fairly slow most of the time. Schalke game yesterday was an hour long, but it was, to be fair,
exciting.
An hour of a lot of exciting gameplay. So with G2, I know they can play towards early game, but in this meta, and because it's still early on in the split for them, they have favored the more late game kind of comps.
Okay.
And I think that's still going to be the direction for them.
I mean, it suits the patch, right? We're still on 8.2, ladies and gentlemen. Galio, Rakan, as well as Gnar, taken off the table by G2 Esports. Unicorns of Love have responded with Rise, as well as Tahm Kench.
And I think the one thing Sheepy does see when he looks at me is that I hate Tahm Kench. So he bans it for me every time. And I really
Deficio,
like that.
that's collusion. You're not meant to say that on broadcast.
I'm not saying anything. He's looking at me. He's reading my body language, which is no Tam Kench.
And what is your body language saying first pick-wise now? Azir is up, PerkZ has played
They did this
Zoe
yesterday.
as well. Gangplank instead locked in.
Yeah, they did this yesterday here. I like how you saved me because there's a lot of first pick choices, so I could say something wrong. By you just, you know, continuing to talk, I never get to make a prediction before the pick is locked in. And I can be like, Gangplank.
You continue then. Where would you like to take us?
Well, I think Vladimir would be a good choice. Wow, just got locked in. That's crazy. Sejuani is also available for Kold if he wants to play the tank. Alistar was what we saw yesterday. Kalista is still here. No one wants to play Kalista in Europe for some reason. Even though Kalista Alistar is amazing. You can just do it, but she keeps losing whenever she gets picked.
Yeah, definitely not great. 0% win rate leading up to this
But
week.
this is the game where Samux will grab Kalista and win a game.
Jankos sends his regards and may
His
not
coach is telling
believe
him to
with
pay
you.
Sejuani. He's saying, no, please, I want to carry. Whoa. That's different. Not a carry.
Oh, it is locked in.
Azir. I like it. All right, well, play around PerkZ. Normally works pretty well if you are G2 Esports. Great way to do it is pick Nunu Azir. Funny enough, most junglers don't want to play Nunu. They don't actually consider him that strong. He's by no means broken, so he's left open in most pick and ban phases. But this one, he's grabbed very early just to play the Nunu Azir comp.
And what is the response from the Unicorns of Love? How do they play into this? Of course,
like
we've
it.
seen the Veigar into Azir multiple times before, and Exile's going to run it this time around.
So remember, early game, you do not beat the Azir with this pick.
No.
Late game,
Yes.
the giant stun from the Veigar is very effective, as I was burping while actually saying that. Very effective against Azir, who wants to stand still and like auto attack, and you can try and like zone him off. And of course, you have the one-shot potential later on. Nunu Azir, however, if they do not get destroyed instantly by this engage comp of Alistar diving in, ult from Veigar, of course, a Vladimir who will reach the backline, if they survive that, they will have way more consistent DPS. But you gotta survive the initial engage.
So the shotgun approach from Unicorns of Love, will they find the kills? If I recall correctly, it was Betsy that played that Veigar really well a couple weeks ago. This will be the first time that Exileh has run that pick.
Ooh, this Taric ban is so smart because they're playing against, a composition that wants long team fights, a lot of hits, kiting around. Taric ult is great at stopping the initial all-in from a comp like the one we see from Unicorn, so that's a really, really smart ban. Could have been a great choice though for G2.
And the Kalista, a really, really smart ban as well, denying that Kalista Alistar. It's going to be Tristana instead, as Varus was the last ban from G2 Esports. And if this Ezreal gets picked in, Deficio, Ezreal is 0-4 on the week and 2-7 on the split in Europe.
Everyone wants to be the hero that gets the first win on patch 8.2 after the Ezreal and Klepto nerfs happened. Hjärnan wants to be that guy. It's a kite comp. There's so much kiting on G2 side. It is a lot of the late game, as we talked about coming into this draft. That's the kind of the style they want to play. Unicorns are a lot for trying to do a bit of what Fnatic did to them yesterday. They want more engaged. They want tools to like one-shot a target just when the fight starts. That's more engaged once again. And Ornn, while his ulti is great as long-range engage, it's hard to use Ornn effectively as a pure disengage support because your main CC when it comes to like people running at you is going to be either if they're next to a wall and you can charge into them, which won't happen very often. The other one is, of course, your long-range ult, but that is a slow one. So when these guys are jumping in instantly and trying to kill one guy within a second or two, Ornn can't always peel against that.
The shotgun shell approach for Unicorns. Will they find their targets? I'm trying to look to see where our social media guy is because I think we have to ask a question. Will Hjärnan and G2 pick up the first win for Ezreal in Europe on 8.2? 0-4 after those nerfs to Deficio. It's the last game of the week here for us in Europe. And we have Nunu Azir, the comp that was going to take over the stage last week. Going to be rounding out this week.
Was only picked once.
Yep.
The Nunu Azir, and it lost.
It wasn't particularly exciting, but this man on your screen is exciting. Jankos will make Willump do wonders.
And when we saw PerkZ and Jankos together, we knew synergy was going to be important. Playing around each other is going to be important. Kind of hoped it was, you know, Lee Sin and LeBlanc. It is now Nunu and Azir, so it's a little bit more late game focused, but still counts. I still think on Unicorn's side, enough engage, plus a great game from Exileh, they can beat G2.
All right, let's see what the Unicorns can do. Deadly, deadly serious on the side of the Power Pink Ponies. 1 win and 6 losses. here in the Spring Split. It has been a tumultuous start.
And that's normally not a sentence you hear put together right there. Deadly serious, pink power ponies.
But that's what you find in the Unicorns of Love. They are being juxtaposed by excitement and energy. The G2 Esports roster is definitely hyped for this game. We're loading up, ladies and gentlemen, here for G2 taking on the Unicorns of Love. The final game of the week before we head to the post-game lobby and then set ourselves up for a handover to the North American LCS.
Classic dematerializer on the Veigar here. You know in the early game it can be a little bit rough in terms of pushing. You can't really match what PerkZ can do on the Azir, so you have to just kind of accept that you will push back in the lane, and dematerializer can definitely help you keep it up. Jankos.
Oh, no.
So annoying already.
It's so frustrating. He hasn't laughed yet, though. If Jankos laughs on this Nunu skin, I hope the observers catch it. Much like Cowbell Alistar, which Totoro's failed to select. And, you know, I can't forgive him for that. But we need to hear that ha when Jankos decides to do it.
All right, for now, it's Wunder dancing in the top lane instead. Meanwhile, on Unicorn's side, the Vladimir pick worked well against him yesterday when it came to reaching the backline, kill the AD carries, Exileh and Samux in that game. So WhiteKnight grabs it for himself this time and says, you know what, my job is now to reach Hjärnan and PerkZ.
Okay.
It can be a little bit difficult to do because, of course, very slippery champions, both the Azir and the Ezreal. Very long range as well. Ezreal will go for Iceborne Gauntlet, so if you don't get to pull under that one, suddenly you get slowed down. But if they land the initial engage first from Zac or Alistar, follow up with stun from Exileh, you're keeping people in place for multiple seconds, and then WhiteKnight is going to get in.
But I mean, I guess that requires, you know, vision, timing, communication. They're going to read the setup well. The man on your screen, Kold, he was one of the guys you're going to look at. He had an interesting tower dive yesterday, didn't go well. He's now going up against Jankos on the Nunu. When we look down some of the statistics, kill participation at 15, 100% for Jankos, the First Blood King. Holds true to his title.
Worth mentioning that G2 do not get a lot of early kills.
Doesn't matter, still counts.
It still counts. It makes it a little bit easier to have 100% kill participation as a jungler. I believe he's currently on Dragon at level 3. Took the blast con over. We have push in the bottom lane. That's one of the great things about this Ornn Ezreal combination is it can very often push in the early game. Ezreal is still fairly strong as an early laner despite the nerfs that happened to his Q where he lost some early damage on it. So with them pushing bot, and as we talked about twice already, Azir pushing in Veigar, it actually allows Jankos to go for this very early Drake.
Start to hold my breath ever so slightly. Gonna need a little bit of help, and then it works out. You can see the mechanics on display of a truly top-tier LCS jungler.
Great thing about Nunu is no skill shots.
Exactly. That's why it's perfect for Jankos.
You cannot mess up. That's not true.
No.
You can mess up Blood Boil. That's the only one.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a record for you. It is truly worthy of the Quickshot title. That was the earliest dragon of the 2018 European LCS, and it was a Cloud Drake. Those two sentences will never be pieced together again, because nobody goes for Cloud Drake that early.
I like the combo from them. Oh, let's see what happens down here. Wadid.
What happens now? Wadid's in a lot of trouble. He gets dunked. I'm so excited by Quickstats, and First Blood is what's going to happen. One more shot. What's going to happen? Samux! What the hell was that?
I think the minions blocked him, so he suddenly started turning around, and he didn't get the last hit. Samux normally would probably just flash for the kill there, but I think he might have gotten too far away because he was stuck in a minion wave.
That would suck so badly.
Maybe if we can get a replay of that, we can see if he could have picked up that First Blood.
But hold that thought. Totoro decides to fancy a shot. Hjärnan's in a little bit of trouble, forced to flash away.
All right.
That means every summoner spell blown on the side of G2.
So early push from the Ornn and Ezreal, but they just got punished. Both of them lost both summoners. All started with Wadid got too close to that Alistar, who could then headbutt him back into the turret. Didn't even have to use flash or anything. Exileh in the mid lane does get a trade on PerkZ. Kold is here.
Charging up the slingshot. Oh, look at that! Fancy footwork from PerkZ. Prediction or anticipated. Sidesteps a stretching strike. Even manages to send a comet back to the face of Exileh. Doesn't use a single summoner.
I like the move here from PerkZ, knowing that if he just dodges around the Nug-Up, he's gonna be fine.
And then he walks into the Fate Horizon. I think he was playing a little bit of bait there.
So, still, the way G2 drafted with, pushing mid, pushing bot, and a Nunu makes a ton of sense for the early Drake. They will try and go for another one when the second one spawns, and it's going to be a mountain. So sucks for them, it's a cloud first, not like an ocean Drake. But let's see, so Wadid walks in, gets knocked up, knocked back into the turret, takes one tower shot, and now Samux gets easy trade. Let's see what happens. He follows, and then, no, actually he could just probably have followed up and flashed and hit him, but maybe just got out of range at the very end.
Oh, so disappointing. We'll see whether or not Unicorns can turn that one around. I mean, look, early advantage here to G2. And of course, once today's show wraps up, the European LCS postgame lobby will kick off. And we'll be discussing whether or not G2 or UOL picked up the win. It's a Kold, by the way, for Hjärnan. PerkZ is able to walk out of the event horizon. Tier Kold, Hjärnan, in for the long game here. Happy to scale, happy to buy some time.
Also kind of missing gold to buy anything useful after the tier. It's already purchased from his side. Kold is always fine. Definitely doesn't hurt him that much in terms of laning phase. Exileh keeps playing very aggressive. They're kind of swapping positions here. PerkZ is suddenly on the other side, and same for Exileh. Luckily, Exileh does have his jungler just outside of the screen. Now Kold enters, and that's why he can play so aggressive towards the bottom side. And second game in a row where Kold is spending all his time in the early game around Exileh. Get this man through the laning phase, and then he can start doing some work.
I mean, that was also Exileh last year. His laning phase was weak, but his team fights were good. And we'll see whether or not Exileh can set themselves up. Jankos gets pulled towards the Raptor camp. Those chickens eaten alive by Exileh and Kold.
And we probably have Gathering Storm on Exileh. And now he's on the other side.
Yeah, there's the cleanse, as well as the command arise and attack. Continues to go forward now. Exileh's got some support. Wadid comes in with a volcanic rupture, and Bellows Breath forces Exileh to flash away. Ignite was used. Exileh's run for his life. Now PerkZ is in trouble. Down below 100 HP. Ignite is ticking. PerkZ stays alive a few seconds longer, but there's the passive pop. Kold's in trouble. First blood available and picked up by Jankos. Now all of a sudden Totoro's in trouble. He's going to get the stun. Well, Samux has arrived. Teleport being channeled, and Exileh returns to the fight, but G2 get the kill.
All right, first blood for G2. PerkZ was very low in that fight, but he just got under the turret. Wadid trying to hold the wave for now. Exileh will just kind of hit him a little bit.
Yeah.
Force him away. Exileh's ulti was there, so...
that would have hurt.
Could have tried to do something. Let's see the play again. So Exileh and Kold coming from behind. PerkZ does get stunned, have to use early cleanse, but now because Kold jumps in, not expecting the cleanse to come down from PerkZ, he ends up missing the first knock-up. And then Exileh is low on HP, low on mana, so he can't really stay and fight. And it is technically, at this point, a 2v3. Of course, PerkZ having to flash away and walk away, but Kold got smaller and smaller, and sadly, in the end, ran out of HP and ended up dropping down. I think the initial plan of going for the play onto PerkZ was fine, but then when PerkZ can cleanse the stun and Kold still flies in where he was positioned before, and is then forced to flash the wall to make a play happen, Unicorns ended up going a little bit too deep.
And they get punished for it. It ends up being pretty sizable, in fact. Nearly 2,000 gold. If you look at advantages in pretty much every single role for G2 Esports. Wunder, of course, farming up with that bonus gold thanks to Gangplank. And Kleptomancy doing so well in lane. And G2 continue the trend of very good early games. Look, over the last few weeks, plus 1,000 gold in 15 minutes. They've had a lead in 6 out of 7 games, despite losing 3 of those.
Yeah, I mean, mainly G2 has been losing games in the late game. Not recently, they've actually gotten a lot better at closing out games and also winning late game fights. This comp, again, we already talked about a ton of scaling.
It scales so well.
So it's like early pushing lanes from mid and bot lane, and then a lot of scaling. So they have some early game in their favor because of the pushing power, and then suddenly they have the late game team fight. But on the other side with Unicorns, we talked about this already, it's the dive to back line.
Yeah.
Chain the CC from Zac, Alistar engage into stun from Veigar. Let WhiteKnight be a carry in the back line. There's a lot of members here who can reach PerkZ or Hjärnan, or at least try to do it. So Unicorns, when they group as 5, which is going to be the name of the game for them, 100%, they can very easily catch G2.
Well, let's see how well they execute it. Before we get there, Deficio, I have a question for you. Jankos is level 6, so Absolute Zero unlocked. He's currently put 3 points into his consume. Where does he go from there? What do you think of skill orders on Nunu? Because I've heard some differing opinions.
Well, I see a lot of Nunus just fully max out consume and then max W after. Do have to see if there's a fight starting. And then just max W second. Don't actually max the E at all, simply because the extra little bit of damage and slow it gives you is not worth it compared to what Blood Boil, when you do put some ranks into it, will give you, of course, more stats for your mid laner, and more importantly, the minimum amount of AP you actually will give them with the 40% increase, it goes up when you put more ranks to it. It's 40 at rank 1, so that's not a lot in the late game. See what happens bot lane. Totoro is very aggressive.
He is indeed. Support was there though. Kold and Exileh coming down. And I'll keep a close eye on Jankos.
Well, he should max Q. Just max Q first and then max W, because you need the Q for objectives and farming and all that.
Well, there we go. Gonna find Exileh. Can start to channel Absolute Zero if he wants to. No, gets the summon of Flash. We'll be happy with that. Teleport's being used by Wadid into the mid lane.
Oh, can he ult? There's no Flash on Exileh.
Call of the Forge God is available, but the Unicorns can flank and surround G2 Esports. The Herald is summoned now, kissed with PerkZ. There's the Forge God. Not gonna find a knockup just yet. Will, in fact, on the return, as the Rift Herald gets a chunk of the tower, but G2, they walk away with their lives.
If it wasn't for the backup around mid here, then Wadid for sure would have instantly ulted onto Exileh and picked up a kill. But of course, Kold and WhiteKnight, they expected it. They were waiting around. I think Kold mainly tried to interrupt the channel on the Rift Herald right there, not really looking for a kill, seeing as, you know, there were multiple G2 members already there and Exileh was so low. Good trade, top from WhiteKnight as well. One of the guys we're really looking at on the side of Unicorns of Love, because he had a good game yesterday.
Yes.
We've seen him, you know, starting to shine a little bit more in the top lane, and this Unicorns of Love team, they do need someone who can win laning phase.
Yeah.
It's not WhiteKnight in this game specifically, but it's been one of the problems for them. They don't really have a single lane that just kind of always does really well early on. Let's see what happens in the play. Gang onto Exileh, of course, Nunu ganks, mainly just slow a guy down.
Yes.
Damage is not really there to do much else. And now, I think Wadid is like, okay, I can get a kill. But then they realize, okay, there are multiple members around, and Kold does fly in. Side the frame comes in a little bit too late. We'll just get a bit of damage on PerkZ, and that's still fine. Gets a cleanse. And he ends up then walking away, and Exileh stays alive.
Walks away and no further kills. Deficio, you talked about sort of winning lane. And despite things starting well for Samux down in that bottom lane, Hjärnan is farming up well, 28 CS away from that Kold. And I do have another piece of information for you. Do you remember I asked the social team and Twitter whether or not you think Ezreal will pick up a win? 52% of you do not think Ezreal will work for Hjärnan.
Haters.
They are then predicting UOL to win, despite being down 2k. But that is maybe just the weight of Ezreal on this patch.
Does it count if G2 wins, but Hjärnan plays awful?
Well, yeah, because it's a team game.
Sure, yeah, but then
I mean, that's literally what the backpack is for.
Did the Ezreal work then?
Well, we'll have to ask social to ask the internet.
That's another question.
Let's see what happens, because Hjärnan is in trouble. Whether or not 52% of you will be right, he's the target. Hjärnan goes golden thanks to the use of that stopwatch. Buys a few seconds longer. Exileh chunks him down with a primordial burst. Absolute Zero is channeled from Exileh on the back end, and Exileh is the target. Buys a couple extra targets, and PerkZ is the man that gets a kill. So they trade 1-for-1. Despite a couple of summoners. So
we've seen this a few times now from Unicorns. They're trying to make a play in the bot lane with the Alistar. Obviously want to get a kill into the first third of the game, but it was a very long dive. The stopwatches, again, they make this difficult because they buy so much time for defending team. Notice how Hjärnan, when the initial engage happens, uses stopwatch, again, buys more time. Jankos can join, PerkZ can run from mid, TP can get channeled, and Exileh, he's not getting out. Save your own stopwatch. There's no way out, like, there's legit zero way out. Just to save it.
Don't use it later when it might be more useful. Question, what do you think of UOL's execution of that dive? Because it's the first taste of how their comp wants to work together and combo the abilities.
I think they hoped to get a knock-up on the Ezreal into a perma-stun, so he couldn't use stopwatch and you could burst him down quickly. Because then this dive could have worked much better for them, and you certainly didn't have to wait for stopwatch to run out, and Jankos wouldn't be there as early, PerkZ couldn't roam and actually be there in time to pick up a kill or at least a return kill on the way out, because Unicorns, even if they got the first kill, gotta make sure that they can actually get out again and not just suddenly get ganked from the side. So I think the play in itself makes a lot of sense, but the stopwatches make it so hard to execute it, and of course also a TP coming down.
All right, PerkZ has been able to walk out a lot of those event horizons, forced to use the Emperor's Divide to buy some time, and as we approach 15 minutes on the clock, despite running at PerkZ over and over, PerkZ is up 30 CS. G2 are up nearly 3,000 gold, and not a tower has fallen. G2 are just farming very well, and they're using all their gold gaining abilities to their advantage.
But Exileh again tries to force PerkZ out of lane so he gets some damage on the turret. So far it is down to 50% HP, and now with the stopwatch gone from Hjärnan, Unicorns Love can try that play in bot lane again, and this time instant kill the Ezreal. It is definitely an option for them. There is TP on Exile's side. He's looking for another trade. He's currently 1v2.
All right, Absolute Zero has been used by Jankos. Here comes Kold in from the back end. Let's bounce available. Let's kiss PerkZ and Jankos. Delivers Jankos closer to Exile, but he's got not a lot left to work with. Sand Soldiers are arisen.
Oh, that TP's gonna get interrupted.
Sent forward. It was in fact interrupted. Let's see how Totoro escapes with his life. Wadid chases forward, connects into the wall. Don't get many opportunities like that. Wadid continues to run forward. The Forge Guard is available. Whoa! The Buster Shot almost saves his life. Totoro, the Blast Code not going to be enough to buy time. Now Kold and Exile coming from the back. PerkZ is blown up, burst down primordially. Hjärnan needs to get over the wall. Got Summoner Flash available. He's looking for another re-engage, and this fight was messy.
Yeah, but that was a 2-for-1 in favor of the Unicorns of Love. It all started in the mid lane. Exile, he went nuts, 1v2. He knew Kold was coming, but he took so much damage, he ended up having to back away. And then suddenly in the bottom lane, a fight breaks out. Well played by Samux and Totoro here, and actually knocking Wadid back, so he suddenly couldn't find a way out. And then they got a kill on him, and managed to then wait for the rest of the team to show up and get another kill, this time on to PerkZ. So this Veigar pick in the mid lane, while he's definitely not winning on CS, he's constantly fighting PerkZ. And he knows the Nunu pick is not that scary. He doesn't have to fear the ganks in the mid lane. So he's feeling confident. Okay, interrupt, of course, or cancel on TP instantly. And now it looks like everything is in favor of G2. Early trade on the Alistar. Jankos comes down first, but look at this one here. Once Wadid gets knocked back and then shot back as well. He can't get out. And the stopwatch this time buys time in favor of the Unicorns of Love, and Exile gets to show up.
Deficio so close to being a Cody's son, but not quite. Totoro's taken out. Good team fight. It also means tower first blood for the Unicorns of Love, so that's going to close that gold deficit ever so slightly. Unfortunately for them, it is at the cost of a Mountain Drake. So that's going to help out. I mean, Nunu, Gangplank, Azir, Ezreal, Mountain Drake. This is terrifying around Baron.
Baron dies in like 2 seconds, basically. Maybe a little bit more, but it will die very quickly. That's the point of the 2 seconds here. Exile and Totoro.
That was an optimistic Forge Guard.
It was. There was no flash on the Veigar. So maybe if it connected, they could have done something. I want to see Exile look for more fights. Disrespect Jankos as much as you want. Walk straight into PerkZ and just take the trades, because at the moment, he's doing pretty fine.
He is indeed. Pretty good for Exile, 2-1-0. Deficio, can we play the minigame of how many stacks does Veigar have, thanks to his Baleful Strike? While you're looking at that, Jankos has maxed his W, so going the expected route.
Currently gained 138 extra AP, and we're only 18 minutes in.
If Exile can use it, 138 bonus AP. PerkZ forced to use his ultimate. That's going to be all he needs to survive.
And now to get that bot lane tower, but look at this here. Wadid is TPing in behind them. We get another fight. I love it.
The Forge Guard's not available. True Shot Barrage flies across the UOL backline, gets some damage down. Jankos continues to bait and taunt the Unicorns, but it's a tower trade, bottom for middle.
And G2 can go for another turret right now, because Unicorns of Love will have to recall, at least get some damage on it, buff up their Azir. Look at the damage from PerkZ right now. Smack, 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 smack. This tower's going down quickly.
Tower will fall. It's a 2-for-1 trade. G2 Esports come out with the macro play, but where is the teleport going? Saw that one being channeled. WhiteKnight actually cancelled it. I'm assuming that's what the observers are trying to show us there. Decided against it. So G2, 3,000 gold up as we get close to 20 minutes on the clock. 2 item spikes continuing to grow, and Unicorns, they're losing some control.
They are, definitely, but they need one fight in their favor like this one.
All right, that's going to be a pretty easy kill here onto Wadid. It's bounces, use that's one. That's another double kill for Exile. And look at G2 scattered.
Oh, and this is why we love Alistar, because you can make some sick plays. You can set up carry so well. That was a great flash knock-up. Yes, Trevor.
That's exactly what
standing and
you
waving
wanted
your hand in my
to
face.
see. Deficio, you wanted to see the shotgun comp the perma-stun into the insta-kill.
Exactly, that's why they drafted this comp. It's all about comboing together multiple types of CC into burst damage. That's what they're looking for. I remember talking to Sheepy a year ago about drafting. He always said combo things. That's what matters to him. So stun into a knock-up, into another knock-up. Great setup between Kold and Totoro here, and Exileh picks up a double kill. And Trevor, you just said Unicorns Love, they're struggling, you know, it's kind of falling apart right now. And I just said, like, Trevor, calm down. They need one fight in their favor. And what happened?
They got the fight.
They got the fight in their favor.
Is it enough or do they need more? Because they're still 3,000 gold down.
They need more, but they're gonna get more.
Okay,
It's impossible for this draft to not get more team fights. It's impossible.
I'm going to quote you on that. It's impossible.
I am fine saying
to
that.
get more team fights. Whether they'll be good or bad is irrelevant. That was not part of your statement. So we'll see how well Kold and Totoro can combo. Because let's give Kold some credit. His Zac stretching strikes have been good. He's been around where most of the action has been.
He's been active, for
We
sure.
can criticize some of the jumps. Those slingshots have not always found their targets. But the follow-up immediately after has. And Kold is one of the guys that I had a lot of expectation on looking at this Unicorn squad because he is the leader, he is the voice, he is one of the most experienced. And we'll see what he can do with his team. Unicorns take another tower there to Deficio in the top lane.
And I want to see what a good friend down the bot lane is going to do, this Alistar, because he's not decided to upgrade after his Targon sprays. He's just sitting on what he gets from the like one upgrade and then sit on the 500 quest bonus with the early sidestone with 3 stacks. It does allow you again to save roughly 1,000 gold, Trevor.
Okay.
And just rush a real item.
Like what? What real item would you expect Totoro to go for?
See, I would love Righteous Laure coming in from him just to have even more engage on his side. And I want to see if that is what he's aiming for at the moment.
I mean, it looks like it. Getting close to it. Around 2,500-ish gold for that Righteous Glory. Totoro currently sitting on 600 with Ruby Crystal, Sapphire Crystal, and that Bracer. So getting close. I'm not going to try to do math on stream because I always mess it up. And while we're talking about itemization, Unicorns, with the tower lead, they've closed that gold gap. They've got some very deep vision into G2's jungle. And it looks like they're trying to at least control the Baron side.
And Exileh, once again, happy taking 1v2. Does not care about Nunu whatsoever. Just wants to try and hit PerkZ in the face every time. Kold, always around mid lane as well in this game. This time around, they did not get PerkZ at first, then he stepped back into it, so I guess it counts, technically.
I also think it's my fault because I said his stretching strikes were good, and that one was dodged or missed, depending on your point of view.
You're never gonna hit if you don't try, Trevor.
That's it. You miss every shot you don't take.
That is very true. And if you're really bad, you also miss every shot you take.
So play Ezreal, then you have a lot of shots to take. And
you can still miss all of them.
Some of them will hit. We'll still see whether or not 52% of you will be correct.
So far, the Ezreal's been fine in this game. But playing late game teamfights as Ezreal is not the same as the big hyper carries. Of course, there's a lot about it in these long fights. Kiteback, Azir, Nunu, Ezreal. It just screams, guys, give us 30 seconds of team fighting where we keep just hitting you from long range, step back, you kill your tank first. In this case, it's gonna be Kold, most likely. And then after we kill that tank, we can re-engage and take down the carries. And Unicorns, as we've highlighted, is the shotgun. It's instant burst. So two opposite kind of teamfight comps, which is really interesting to watch in this game here.
It makes it so fun because it comes down to execution, vision, timing, when you decide to engage and how you decide to engage. Because, of course, the Unicorns, they found that great fight in the mid lane.
All right, so he did upgrade the Targons for now, but he's still going Righteous Glory.
Okay.
So I'm still happy. I would have loved to see him instantly rushed, but it's fine. I get it, get the extra tankiness.
I mean, it feels like we're going late again. It kind of feels like this is scaling. G2 still have a bottom outer tower to take. They're still farming up. Despite the 2k gold lead, it's becoming less and less important.
As always, once we start getting towards the later stages of the game, but it's going to be a while before we get there. We've actually had fairly fast games, most of them today in the UOLCS.
As is the trend. Saturday games seem to be quicker than Friday games. Let's see what Kold and Exileh can do. PerkZ throws down the Emperor's Divide, absolute zero. Gonna zone away all of the Unicorns. Event Horizon is decent by some time, but the Sand Soldiers don't care. WhiteKnight comes in from behind, forced a Protobelt out. The True Shot Barrage flies across nothing. Down Kold is re-engaged. PerkZ is running for his life. This is a long team fight. The Event Horizon fights nobody, but the Primordial Burst does. Finally, someone goes down, and it's PerkZ.
Well, G2 did survive the first engage here, but then because WhiteKnight was sitting against 4 G2 members, he just made sure they could never regroup, and PerkZ came in from the side, tried to do something, and got interrupted by the Zac. He hit this little slingshot, knocked up PerkZ. He suddenly was caught out. Oh, they want some more.
All right, Wunder can eat an orange and he'll be K. Hjärnan sidesteps the stretching strike as Wunder's forced to split away. Totoro gets the interrupt and Hjärnan goes down. Samux gets the kill.
And once again, Unicorns of Love, they have so much engaged with this draft, they will always find the team fight. G2 tried to regroup. PerkZ stuck his head forward. Thought he could be the carry from the side. Look at this here. Okay, so G2 not grouped up yet. Gangplank not here. Ezreal not here either. So we get the first engage. It's on to PerkZ, of course. They can't lock him down, so this is what G2 wants. They disengage, and now they can deal some damage. But look at WhiteKnight. 1v4 right there to the left. Make sure that they can't regroup, and PerkZ then wants to do something from the side, gets interrupted, and now Unicorns of Love can just chase towards him with all the mobility, all the CC, and then they will eventually kill him. That was actually, at first, a fine setup for G2 because they survived the engage. They could deal some damage, but because of WhiteKnight's little play down there, and PerkZ getting interrupted, suddenly Unicorns could stick to a target.
And such kudos to Totoro as well. He knocked Wadid out of Call of the Forge God, teleports in to set up another kill, and Deficio, with that 5th kill for Exileh, he has now got more kills in a single game than all of the previous weeks this year. Kold spent all of his early game time ganking for Exileh, trying to get him through that laning phase, working with him. And Exileh at 5-1-0 with 230 bonus AP. Is now a terrifying threat.
G2 saw the Zac move in towards the river.
It'll be dead by the time they get there.
They're pinging him, but they can't get it.
Oh! What?
Cast the curse.
Holy moly! Somebody gift that! True Shot Barrage steals Baron.
Unbelievable!
Hold on, all of you Ezreal haters, that's for you. That is for every Ezreal hater.
The smite from Kold will deal 720 damage. They can even time it with a W from Exileh. Okay.
If this doesn't go slow-mo, then I'm going to be very disappointed.
Let's see. Fires it. HP.
Yes!
738.
Holy moly!
Wow. That was so huge. That was a great play.
We're completely flabbergasted. Martin and I have been speaking for years, and that single play has stunned us. We just cannot get over the True Shot Barrage. And it was set up so beautifully. 52% of you hated on Ezreal. Hated on him. We set it up, we saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming. But what a great play. So G2 Esports, 4,000 gold in the lead. Baron on multiple players. And the Unicorns of Love need to use this shotgun shell attack.
Oh man, Kold didn't even get to use his smite. He saw the Baron. So again, Kold's smite would deal 720 true damage. He saw it at 738, and then something hit it, plus the ult from Ezreal, and it died. So technically,
Kold was fine.
Technically, you time it and say burst now plus smite, and you get it most of the time. But he was actually waiting for to go around 700 HP before he used smite. So he didn't get to use it at all because it got hit by something plus Ezreal ult, and then it went over to G2.
Right.
In a matter of a tiny second.
If there's one consolidation or one thing that is good here for the Unicorns of Love, they've got tons of initiation. And one of the best ways to deal with the split push or a 1-3-1 type comp or anybody using Baron, initiate on a group of them, right?
Yeah.
How and where will Unicorns need to pull back this goal deficit and try to claw back this game?
Well, let's see if G2 are committing to any of the inhib turrets. For now, they're looking towards the last tower in the top lane. We have Unicorns around to defend. They do TP in behind Trevor. They want to fight. Hjärnan is not there. He's in the mid lane.
Where is Hjärnan? How long will he take? That's a double TP into the red buff. This looks like it's going to fizzle. There's nobody to jump on.
All right, double TP gone right now. PerkZ and Jankos just stepped away from the top lane. Wunder did also cancel his teleport right there. Okay, we're slowing down again.
Reset. We felt the tension build, but nothing happened.
Yeah, and it bought some time for Unicorns. You know, this Baron buff, 30 seconds left. It's gonna run out. This game is far from over, man. We're gonna get 5 million team fights.
I hope so. Your statement was true. 253 bonus ability power for Exileh on his Veigar. Him and the rest of the Unicorn squad have gonna fend off at least most of this Baron buff.
Oh, careful.
Further has been taken. The Sun Disc has been summoned on the mid-outer tower, and the inner turret bottom is the target.
All right, so they try bot lane now instead of top lane. Again, no TPs this time around for Unicorns of Love. Much harder for them to do any sort of engage, unless Kold can connect something here. Totoro is on the side. Look at him right there, the Alistar. Jankos is zoning him away.
All right, Eventurize is buying some time. Here's the Forge God. Gonna get knocked backwards, looking for the initiation. Totoro headbutts Jankos away. The tower is the focus, and will get taken down. Totoro's being hammered. Unbreakable will, just to keep his life alive. Now with the Baron timed out, G2 continue the siege. They've got 3 ranged minions down on the front line. The tower's going to be taken out. Unicorns cannot defend. They cannot fire the shotgun because they are not in range.
Well, G2 did get an inhib turret, but will then step away. All of Unicorns of Love still alive. They just got poked down and had to go back. No inhib gone just yet in this game. 31 minutes into it. It was Unicorns of Love setting up for Baron. They won the previous team fight, and then that insane steal happened from Hjärnan on the Ezreal. And suddenly G2 gets a bit more gold. 6k gold ahead at the moment. Let's see in terms of items. 4 items on the AD carry. Is almost matched by Samux on his side, but he's still actually sitting on 1300 gold, so he's almost there to match what's happening. Mid lane as well, 3.5 on Exileh. 3.5 on PerkZ. So this gold lead, a lot of it's probably going to be in the Gangplank, as always. Yeah, right now, Wunder is 4,000 gold ahead.
Insane. That is insane.
So 4k of this lead for G2 is on just the top laner. That means PerkZ is not necessarily a lot stronger than Exileh.
Yeah.
And the AD carries are almost evenly matched as well.
And I mean, at the end of the day, Unicorns, their sort of team composition is about finding that single target, about chunking it down, and then you can continue the team fight. PerkZ is going to use those Sand Soldiers to move forward. Wadid's Forge God bounce backwards. No flash for Exileh. Kold decides to jump in. Where's WhiteKnight trying to come in? They've already killed Wadid. WhiteKnight has taken down Hjärnan. Unicorns might have done it. Totoro's zoning away PerkZ. Jankos running for his life through the river, and somehow Wunder's nowhere to be seen. PerkZ gets the first of the fight for G2, and Samux takes him down. Rocket Jump is available for the reset, but he doesn't chase.
I love shotgun comms. Whenever they get onto someone, they just burst them down. Wadid died first, then all the engage came in from Unicorns of Love, and they got onto Hjärnan, they got onto PerkZ. WhiteKnight on this Vladimir in these fights. He's not afraid. Ghost, Flash, Protobelt. He's getting into that backline every single time. And this Ezreal died so fast, he didn't even get to use a summoner spell.
We're going to talk about him a lot this game, but here's a replay of the fight. Wadid just got chunked down.
Kold flies in. Look at WhiteKnight here on this Vladimir. He just looks straight at the animated carry, and there's no one who can peel for him. Nunu slow won't do anything against a flash pool Vladimir. So he will get to Ezreal. And now they also do take down PerkZ. Unicorns of Love, despite being down in gold, we just talked about it. For the main carries, that doesn't matter because they're even in terms of gold in this game. It's mainly just this GP who's of course getting very close to full items. But the Vladimir, he can still kill the enemy AD carry without full items.
Absolutely insane. Deficio, as you see the timer go past 33:23. Give you a piece of information. That's the average game time for EU LCS matches on Saturdays. Let's see how long this plays out, because Totoro's the target of G2 Esports. Continues to run for his life. Flash is available, and that Unbreakable Will gets burned through it. The Absolute Zero slows down Unicorns of Blood. No flash for Exileh. He's shut down, chunked down as Jankos jumps forward. Now WhiteKnight's trying to be the hero. The Hemo play brings him back up to life, but there's not enough just yet. Samux needs to be a hero here. Samux needs to pull a Marinette out the hat, but he will not be able to do it.
What a turnaround here. G2 suddenly winning the fight. Exileh's flash is almost ready, but wasn't there for the actual team fight. Plus the Alistar got caught out early. Baron is alive. We know with the Nunu Azir comp, you kill this Baron so quickly. Kold, no smite on his side. Samux, full HP, yes. but he's the only damage dealer here. It's hard for him to do anything, and this Baron, it drops.
Oh, so quickly. 5,000 HP. Samux, will he attempt to steal? The answer's no. Instantly burst down. Second Baron of the game goes to G2 Esports, and Unicorns of Love may get themselves Solitary Mountain in reply.
Let's see what happens here. Unicorns of Love are not in position to fight, but they stayed in mid. Exileh and WhiteKnight, they're not here. Instant kill onto the support, and now, without flashes to get out of this Nunu ult and GP ult, Exileh will get tagged and slowed down, so he dies. Oh, Unicorns of Love had such a great fight in their favor before this one, and then overstay their welcome in the mid lane when they were waiting for the top laner, waiting for Exileh to join them, and they get punished by G2 Esports, and now second Baron in their favor. This bot lane inhib, it's open from before. I think the Mountain Drake went over to Unicorns. Kold took it down.
It did indeed.
While we had the little replay. Let's see if G2 can get at least the last outer turret, and then once again, the way out for Unicorns is fighting.
Yes.
It's just fight back all the time.
Fortunately for Unicorns, fighting in those narrow choke points kind of helps them out. If G2 step a little too far forward, WhiteKnight throws down the Ghost to try to escape, needs to use their Sanguine Pool and does so. That means he's now out of the fight. That's the the inner top turret.
Yeah.
Will be the next focus.
And of course, as we talked about much earlier in the game, Jankos maxing that Blood Boil second,
Yep.
so applies it to PerkZ, means that he can give all the way up to 120 extra AP, plus, of course, attack speed adding on. We might get another fight here, but good disengage.
Oh, so good from G2. They survive the shotgun shell, but at what cost? It's a fight on two fronts. Wunder takes down Exileh. There's a follow-up from PerkZ. Totoro, Samux are down as well. The Unicorns are routed, picked up, run down, killed, and G2 are destroying the Unicorns of Love.
That should be game now. They have so much damage on these turrets. They managed to disengage. Unicorns of Love suddenly couldn't do anything, and every single member just dropped dead except for WhiteKnight. He's trying 1v5.
Oh, it's not going to be enough. Gets shut down and killed. The first Ezreal win of the weekend goes to Hjärnan. G2 Esports steal a Baron, steal the hopes of the Unicorns of Love. And G2 Esports, they take down the Unicorns.
Very fun game, a lot of action, two different kind of comps. One comp looking for the engage into burst, another comp looking for the disengage, and then the consistent DPS. We got to see both comps work multiple times. Engage happened, someone died, Unicorns of Love won the fight. Nobody died, and suddenly G2 got to kite back.
Yep.
They got to kill the first guy in the front line, and they got to win the fight. The Baron steal, though, from Hjärnan was huge, because suddenly it wasn't Unicorns of Love pushing for turrets. It was actually G2 getting a bit more gold. And then after that, of course, they won a big fight in the mid lane where two members of the Unicorns of Love were missing. They were running from base and bot lane, and Unicorns managed to get caught. And this kind of describes their season so far, because they're doing a lot of things correct. There's a lot of things we're saying, wow, these guys, for a team at the bottom, look pretty good.
Yes, there's those flashes. Those flashes of brilliance.
You have these one or two big mistakes. Either it's an individual mistake or it's a team mistake, but they happen almost every game, Trevor. And then they get punished.
Kold almost got punished trying to hug Wunder on stage.
Wunder, he's been working out. This man is getting quite some guns.
He is indeed, and he's using them in game. Jankos, not a happy smile. But Deficio was trying to talk about something in game.
You can't be happy.
G2 Esports managed to win this game in 36 minutes and around 50 seconds, right? The average game time of EULCS Saturday games is around 34 minutes. The average game time of EULCS games on Friday is around 46 minutes. Who knows why they take slower to close on Friday?
The EU players really want to, end the week, go to the bar, have some fun.
And to clarify, that is the week 4 stats as well.
So it's only week 4?
Only for week 4. I'm pretty sure.
Every Saturday.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be close, but I'll check with the LOL Esports stats team a little bit later.
Well,
Deficio, this makes next week very exciting because now we've got these teams at the top of the table starting to pull away from the middle of the table.
Yeah.
G2 will be playing Vitality next week.
It's true.
And if G2 are able to pick up a win there, it's going to close that top of the table gap between a couple of squads. Fnatic are up there, Giants are up there, G2 getting close. It's going to be very, very interesting.
Misfits losing 2 games this week here, so they're obviously dropping a bit down in the standings. Splice went 1-1, so they're not catching the top team at the moment.
But they can also climb a little bit away from the H2Ks and the UOLs of the bottom of the table.
They're pretty far down and pretty far away at the moment, at least. Sadly for Unicorns of Love, ended up losing the crucial fights in this game and therefore couldn't get the win.
They couldn't. We do have one more question for you over on LOL Esports. The Twitter, it is for the player of the game, of course. We'll announce the winner on the EU LCS post-game lobby, but you need to tell us who you think deserves it. Is it Wunder, Jankos, or PerkZ? Now, I would have voted for Hjärnan, but he's not on the selection. The analyst desk will actually be picking that up. And fortunately for us, the first Ezreal win of the weekend is getting ready on stage with Laure along with Wadid. We're going to talk to him, going to talk about Ezreal and maybe ask a few more questions. I know Laure actually wanted to know more about that.
Well, go ahead then.
Well, why don't you toss it then, Deficio?
Should I toss it?
You should.
Well, guys, for more on G2's win, let's send it over to Laure here, who's sitting down with their bot lane.
Thank you very much, Deficio. Indeed, I'm here with the bot lane of G2 after their win against Unicorns of Love. I'm sorry, guys, how are you feeling today about the game? Where did you can go? Because you were mentioning you were kind of sad about it. How come?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty disappointed from our performance right now, like, especially me, because, like, my performance on stage, like, especially this week, it even is worse. So, like, I'm pretty disappointed right now, so I really want to just rewatch my game and then fix the problems right now.
Yeah, but still, you guys end up the week with a 2-0. I mean, it's rather good compared to the start you had. Hjärnan, how are you feeling about the team? Do you feel like you're getting stronger every week?
I'm not sure. I mean, this week was pretty disappointing for us. I think both these 2 games this week we could have lost. And it's pretty much me. Wadid needs to step up a bit, I think, and we'll be playing pretty bad on stage and poorly this week, especially. So we just need to step up for next week, and then I think we will have a lot of easier games.
Yeah, and still you have a week to prepare for that. I want to ask you both a question because you both came from Rocket last year. How is it different concerning training, organization in G2? Wadid?
Especially like G2 was like king of the Europe for 2 years, like it was, and it's like really great organization. Like our CEO is like, Carlos, how can you like not like this organization, you know? And then, yeah, I mean, from our scrims, like we are not performing like 100% like scrim. Like we're performing really bad on stage. So I don't know what's the problem right now, but I really want to like fix it right now. I'm really like motivated to fix it.
Do you feel like, in a way, you might feel some pressure concerning, well, the fact that G2 was very successful over the last few years? Do you have to continue the legacy in a way, Hjärnan?
I mean, that's the goal, obviously, for us as a team to win the split and do good at Worlds and everything. So I don't think we feel the pressure of it. It's just like more disappointing that we're not improving in the speed we want to improve, basically.
Okay, and we're going to focus more about the game now, because next week we will be on 8.3. The patch will change. Hopefully we will see new things in the game. What are you expecting to see, Wadid?
I don't know. It feels like every day is like pre-season, because there's a lot of changes during the season, so it's kind of confusing. But this is kind of the life of the League of Legends pro player, so we have to adapt it, and then just looking for best picks, and then it's like BO1, so we have to find out it, like anyways. So I don't know. I didn't read even 8.3, so yeah.
Okay, is it confusing for you to go to BO1 this year? I mean, last year was best of 3. Is it changing anything for you, Hjärnan?
It's a bit different, yeah, because best of 3 you have to prepare a bit more, I feel like. I have to prepare for both sides, both red and blue. Okay. And now you only have to prepare for one side, so it's a bit like, if you play bad, for example, like I think me and Valée played bad the first game, then you have always a chance to like show that you actually can play like better the next game or the third game, you know. So I missed it a bit, but yeah, I mean it's fun for it's fun with best ones as well, I think, but I don't know.
Yeah, and you'll have time to learn with this new system. But it's all for us on this side of the stage. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me today. And for the moment, we're going to send it to Drakos and his guest for the EU LCS post-game lobby.